Hi guys, welcome back. So post the Welsh win, let's rate these England players, let's do a player report. Now the way I do it to try and make it simple and meaningful is give them a thumbs up if I think they've had a particularly good game, a thumbs down if they've had a poor game, and then like a verbal review if you like as well. So let's get into it, and I'd love to know your reviews, who you'd give a thumbs up to, who you'd give a thumbs down to. Ellis Genge at the loose head, I thought had another bullocking game, really impressive. Tackling, carrying, always super keen to get involved, athletic, explosive. I think he's a fantastic player. I don't think he's going to ever be a 100% dominant scrummager, but he holds his own, wins some penalties, loses a few, but he's a certain starter, a real leader, and probably a really good choice as captain as well. So I'm going to go for a thumbs up for Ellis Genge again. I really rate this guy. Jamie George. His skills, they're not in doubt. Lovely line-out throwing, got some good passing involved in this game. Never really going to be an athletic beast like a Roland Kelleher or Dan Sheehan of Ireland, but he's justified his starting spot. Carl Sinclair looks completely in control of his own game now, looks absolutely focused, playing as well as probably he used to be honest. Muscular try as well against Wales to get over, that was decent. And similar to Genge, probably not ever going to be a scrummaging monster, but certainly good enough. And I'm going to give him a thumbs up in this game because I've been impressed by how he's improved throughout the three games. The second rows, I thought did their job. They're working well together, Itoje and Chesham. They seem very well in tune, in the line out working nicely. Maro Itoje, a pain in the bum in the tackle, scragging those Welsh players like he does at his best. That was good. Ollie Chesham maybe a little bit quieter than previous weeks, but goes about his work professionally, looks completely at home, low error rate, so I like what those two are doing together. Into the back row. Once again, a really good performance from the back row. Lewis Ludlam is quickly getting a reputation for consistency, of defence, of carrying, very low error rate and a non-stop engine. I mean, he's been good all three games, and I'm giving him a thumbs up again because I think he really makes that back line, that back row, I should say, tick and, gives it perfect balance because he's the big guy who goes through the work, lets others do other stuff. And we saw Jack Willis starting, loves the scrap, got a good turnover, had a decent game. But Alex Dombrandt, like I said, with Ludlam doing a lot of the dog work, Willis getting over the ball, it allowed Dombrandt to do what he does best and get out wide and use that passing game that we've seen for Harlequins. And he didn't make the mistakes this time, and he gave some lovely passes, created tries, made some runs out wide as well. I thought this was best game by miles. He needs another one, I think, to back it up, but well done Alex Dombrandt. Finally took his chance, so a thumbs up for him. Now into the backs, and it gets quite hard. Jack van Poortvliet, I just can't place. Sometimes he looks at home, sometimes he looks like he's just staring at the ball, watching the opposition take it off him. Sometimes he does good kicks, sometimes not, so I'm just not quite sure. I think he's growing into the role, but is his starting spot under threat? Are there other nines who could come and take it? Possibly, so let me know what you would say, because I know some people say he's had a good game, some people say he had a really rubbish game. On to Owen Farrell. This was a scrappy, fighting sort of game, and he definitely loved that physical element. He went through a mountain of tackling, he was definitely impressive in that stakes for a fly half. However, one of Owen Farrell's unique selling points in the past is he's one of the best goal kickers in the world, and that completely deserted him in this game. Some wild misses, not even close, and out of hand. He had a kick charge down, an abysmal crossfield kick straight into touch, and when that's one of his big skills, I think you'd expect him to possibly lose his starting space if he wasn't captain. That's one to discuss another day. But yeah, definitely a thumbs down for Owen Farrell because he left a lot of points out there, which kept Wales in the game partly. Onto the wing, Anthony Watson on the left wing, solid reintroduction, some nice touches without completely cutting loose, so interesting to see if he gets right back to his best, but it was promising signs. Ollie Lawrence, another stellar game I would say, and now a nailed on starter somewhere in the centres. Looks confident in his game, not that nervous wreck we saw when he played under Eddie Jones. With all due respect for the things that Jones did well, one of the things coming out of the camp now he's left is it was a culture of fear, and some players really didn't like that. I think Ollie Lawrence has benefited from some confidence from Borthwick and really repaid him. England were desperate for this genuine attacking, dangerous centre. He's delivered. Big thumbs up to him. Outside him, Henry Slade is another one. Tricky to place, to be honest. Missed a couple of poor early tackles. Still a slick operator, will do nice stuff, hit nice lines, make nice passes, but maybe a slightly more dangerous, destructive 13 might be needed, so his spot could be in jeopardy at some point, so a bit undecided about him, so I don't think a thumbs down, but just watch this space, I'd say. Now, on to the controversial one, Max Malins. Beautiful player, always involved, did some great stuff. He did miss one tackle early on when Rees-Zammit roasted him on the outside slightly, but he'll do that to a lot of people. But he does get a thumbs down. I don't have it for Max Malins, but he did give away an absolute shocker of an intercept, giving it straight to Rees-Zammit, forcing the pass really badly, and that kept Wales in the game because they didn't look like scoring apart from that. So it has to be a thumbs down just for that, not because I don't think he's a good player. I'm not sure he's got a position. He's a 10 who can play 15, who's now doing a job at wing, and that's amazing for a 10 doing a job at wing. Has he got a position? I don't know. Lovely player, but in this game made an absolute howler that could have cost them, but in the end did not. Now on to Freddie Stewart, who got rightfully man of the match, and he would have dreamed of days like this. Lots of kicks begging to be caught, with little chase pressure. No clean breaks from the opposition backs to try and catch him flat-footed. Wales may have just written the book on how not to play against Freddie Stewart. So on a day like this, imperious, you could tell he was loving it. Big thumbs up. On to the subs. Pretty hard to rate. Jack Walker. Well, other countries unleashed their trusted reserve hookers with 20 or 30 to go. Not so Jack Walker. You can tell Borthwick doesn't rate him. Certainly over George, he barely gets any time at all. Mako and Dan Cole, well, I'm not going to give them thumbs down or thumbs up. They rolled on, I think, far too early, especially for Ellis Genge. They didn't do anything wrong, but apart from drain my excitement, maybe that's a bit harsh, let me know, but whatever there. Laws did get through some good minutes, made some good tackles, got stuck in without any particular fireworks, but looks like a really good replacement on the bench if that's how he's going to be used. Good to get him some game time. Now, the last thumbs up goes to Ben Curry. Borthwick put a lot of trust in him, swapping him in for Willis fairly early, especially considering Curry wasn't in the initial squad this week. And he didn't disappoint. Much improved performance over that poor one he had against Scotland. Got into the turnovers, made all his tackles, looked much more at home. Good response. Well done, Ben Curry. Thumbs up. Mitchell came on and he's got a bit of a habit of creating tries toward the end of the match. Created another really good one. And I think he's pushing for a starting spot. JVP has some good minutes, had lots of starts. I think Mitchell deserves a start for sure. As does, I think, Marcus Smith. Again, poor Smith and Arundel simply used to suck up a few seconds at the end of the game. Both surely deserve a start. Smith needs to have a run with Ollie Lawrence and Slade to see what he can do. Henry Arundel, it's a bit of a waste of a dangerous winger. I know it wasn't that sort of game maybe for him, but surely he's that good. He's got to get a start. Anyway, guys, what do you think of my ratings, my verbal reviews and my thumbs up, thumbs down? Pop all your comments below, and I'll catch you next time.